Here we go. I am live for my WWE Raw after WrestleMania review. I just got back from Dallas, Texas this afternoon. Pretty much as soon as I got home, it was time to get ready for Raw, so I was very hesitant on doing a stream tonight and talking about the Raw after WrestleMania because I am very tired, but I also was not going to miss this show because of all the newsworthy stuff that happened last night at WrestleMania, so I wanted to get on here and talk with you guys. Say live chat's open if anyone wants to talk about the trip or anything, fire away on questions. Anybody have any opinions about the show tonight, fire away. But we are gonna get into this review, and we are gonna start off this review with Cody Rhodes. Actually, he came out for a promo, same entrance pretty much as they did with WrestleMania, just not the giant ass stage, but the elevated platform, the fireworks, all the same pretty much. Cody Rhodes comes out, the crowd is loudly behind him, they chant Cody. There's somebody in the crowd with a Hank Hill sign, which I find very hilarious. If I have any King of the Hill fans out there, I didn't see any when I was down there, but yeah, that sign was very funny. Cody Rhodes opens the promo saying, "What do you guys want to talk about?" And then says he's coming back to He then says that coming back to WWE was a simple decision for him, which, I mean, when there's only two big promotions out there, I think it is pretty simple to go to the other big one, but, to each their own on his opinion there. So, yeah, he says, it was a very simple decision to come back to WWE. He then says he signed a multi-year deal with WWE, which is probably true. If I had to bet, it's probably about it's between a 3 and 5 year deal. That's what WWE likes to do when they sign people to contracts. It's either 3 or 5. If I had to bet, it's probably about 5 years, $2 million. If I had to bet on the deal that Vince McMahon cut. Let's see, am I even live right now? Sorry, I'm trying to check the link right now, make sure everything's live, because no live viewers. I hope I didn't make this private. Let's see, where we at? Sorry, I'm just double checking everything, because sorry, I'm double checking everything just because viewers aren't really funneling in right now, so I'm just making sure. No, it's public. Okay, just making sure everything's all right here. Just trying to make sure nothing's screwed up. Sorry, where was I at? Oh yeah, I was talking about Cody Rhodes. He shows a graphic of Dusty Rhodes at Madison Square Garden on September 26, 1997. He talks about how Dusty Rhodes was his hero, and he gets very emotional talking about this. His voice, it cracked a lot throughout this promo when he started talking about his dad. The crowd started chanting Dusty, which just made him even more emotional. The picture was actually of Dusty Rhodes holding the WWE Championship. He mentions names like Hulk Hogan, which the crowd boos, which was pretty funny. But then he also mentions names like The Undertaker and Shawn Michaels and Triple H, which gets the crowd to cheer. But he talks about how all those great men held that championship. He talks about even though Dusty Rhodes was holding that championship and the picture, he wasn't actually champion. He only thought he won it, but then the champion's advantage kicked in and his opponent won that match by count out. And so he didn't actually win the championship. It was just a picture of him holding it, basically. And Cody Rhodes tells a story about how when he was 8 years old, he promised his dad that he would be WWE champion and he would bring the belt to him, which he says is now too late because of Dusty Rhodes being dead. But he says he can still put the belt on around the waist of the American Nightmare. The crowd chants, "You can do it." After that, Then Seth Rollins comes out with a new Titantron, I believe. I didn't watch Raw last week, but I don't think Seth Rollins' Titantron was purple last week. It might have been. I just hadn't noticed it. But yeah, it's purple and black with his name. It's very simple. He comes out, dances around Cody Rhodes, and then shakes his hand and says, "Welcome back," in the segment ends. So a very weird ending to the segment. But that's kind of just Rollins in general. All of his stuff is goofy. So yeah, it wasn't a bad segment. It was a good promo. I saw a lot of people talking about how it got them emotional. I don't know about that. I don't see how it really gets anyone emotional. But, well, I mean, the parts where he was talking about Dusty and all that, I can see where that gets people emotional. But, I mean, him talking about his decision to come to WWE and all that, I don't see how that made anyone emotional. But very good opening segment, and really should have been the main event. We'll get into the main event later, but I mean, this promo is way better than what happened out there. But like I said, we'll get into that. What was the segment after that? Segment after that was Sasha Banks and Naomi, the new WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, versus Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley, who if you guys watch my predictions video, I actually picked Liv and Rhea to win the match, and there was a dude very upset that I did not pick Naomi, but hey dude, they were my number 2 to win that match. Naomi and Rhea kick off the match. My TV cut out during the beginning of this match, but from what I'm seeing, I didn't miss much. I guess during the commercial break, one of the production people hit DX's music, and like the camera in the arena started with the DX symbol and all that. So I guess somebody had a huge fuck up there. Imagine if that would have happened on TV, I haven't seen any videos about it on Twitter yet, but I'm going to keep an eye out because it's very interesting. Liv and Sasha get hot tags. Sasha gets the hotter tag and starts dominating Liv Morgan with Meteoras. Sasha hits a Meteora on Liv Morgan, but she kicks out. Liv then gets an offense in. It gets some offense in with a beautiful enziguri. She tags Rhea in. Then she gets hit with some offense, tags Liv back in, and then Naomi gets tagged in the match, throws Rhea out, and they hit that monkey flip double knees on Liv Morgan to win the match. So, that new tag finisher, I'm not sure how I feel about it. It's very cool. I'm just not a big fan of monkey flips in wrestling, or I don't even know if it is called a monkey flip, but, it's a roll through into another jump with double knees. That's basically what the move is. So yeah, it was alright, nothing too special. After the match, Rhea Ripley looks at Liv very disappointed and walks away as Kevin Owens' music hits. Now this is going to be something interesting to get into. Kevin Owens comes out for a promo, says he may have made a mistake. Crowd loudly chants "what" with every word he says. He said he had a back injury from lifting weight. Some dude named Ezekiel comes out. Now, Ezekiel is Elias. And Elias looks a lot different. His hair is kind of more slicked back. It's not watered down like it used to be. He doesn't have a beard anymore, which there was reports that Vince McMahon told Elias that he looked way too much like Randy Savage, so now he's trying his best to look like LA Knight. That's what he looks like now. Ezekiel denies being Elias after questioning from Kevin Owens. Ezekiel says he is Elias's younger brother. Owens says he doesn't have time for this BS and says he's going to beat Elias up if he doesn't leave the ring when he's done counting from 10. But once Kevin Owens gets to 0, he just leaves the ring and nothing happens after that. Very weird segment. I mean, I like that Elias is back, but this Ezekiel character looks very stupid, so we'll see how it goes. But I like Elias. I'm glad he's back. He's a good wrestler. Hopefully he can be thrusted into the mid-card scene, either on Raw or SmackDown, because I think he's good enough to be at that mid-card level. But I don't know. We'll see. After that, we had Dominic Mysterio versus The Miz. I didn't even pay attention to this, and The Miz won in a minute. Veer comes. He finally comes. He comes all over Dominic. That was an article I read while scrolling through Facebook. But yeah, Miz won. Veer comes, beats the living shit out of the Mysterios, does a bow. Segment ends. Very, very quick segment. I am so fucking sick of seeing the Miz and the Mysterios. And it looks like after tonight it's over because next week Rey Mysterio is facing Veer in a match. The new WWE Raw Women's Champion Bianca Belair comes out. Belair thanks the crowd for believing in her ever since her loss at SummerSlam, and talks about how they inspired her to, get back to the top, and how she's happy they never gave up on her. She takes off her sunglasses and reveals a very, very nasty black eye, actually. Let me see if I can find a picture of it, because, yeah, this thing, she had a shiner. And I don't know what it was from, maybe. I didn't see it during the match. Actually, now that I think about it, I think I remember someone talking about her getting hit pretty bad, but I haven't even went back and watched WrestleMania yet, so we'll see if I can find the spot where she got damaged. But yeah, her left eye was very badly closed, and yeah, at first I thought it was makeup, and then I looked, I'm like, nah, she got fucked up. So here, where's the picture? Sorry guys, I know this is probably dead audio, but there's no one watching anyway, because I think Streamlabs doesn't like me. Because I used to get way more views whenever I would just live stream straight through YouTube. So here, let me add a image. Not that one. Oops, shit, not that. Damn it. This is what happens when a monkey tries to use a computer. Applications, downloads, desktop. Not that one, this one. This is what I was trying to show you guys. Right here. This is what her eye looked like. Very, very bad. You can see how it's swollen right there. Yeah, I mean, she just got all kinds of fucked up. I feel very bad for her. But, she's new Raw Women's Champion. Talks about how the loss at SummerSlam to Becky Lynch a few months ago humbled her. Talks about wanting to be a very proud champion. I was very surprised that no one came out during this segment. I was fully expecting Doudrop to come out, actually, just because that's the match that will never end. But yeah, it was just a straight up promo from Bianca Belair. Nothing bad here. I was just very shocked that no one came out. From reports I read earlier, Becky Lynch is going to be taking some time off, which, for a star like her, she doesn't need to be on TV all the time. So, nothing bad about her missing some time. She can come back around SummerSlam time and have a big match, and I mean, hell, she's got a young baby she needs to take care of. So, mom duties first. Video package for Bron Breakker then plays. He has a match against Dolph Ziggler for the NXT Championship. It's pretty much the same match they had on Saturday. Ziggler kicks off the match trying to get into Breaker's head. He's just, yelling stuff at him. Commentators talk up how big and powerful Braun is. Braun hits a beautiful spine buster as Ziggler was jumping in midair. And then Bron Breakker reverses it and just slams him onto the match. Crowd starts chanting or singing Pat McAfee's theme during this. The whoa, 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 whoa. Seven Nations Army, that's all we heard. Bobby Roode gets on the apron and tries to distract Breakker. Breakker dives over the top rope to take him out with a rolling senton. He gets back into the ring, gets hit with a famouser by Ziggler. Ziggler goes for another famouser, but it's countered. He rakes the eyes as Bron Breakker is countering that move. He tries to repeat what happened on Saturday, but Breakker kicks out. Braun hits a spear and then a power slam to win the NXT Championship. I saw a lot of people complaining about why this didn't happen on Saturday, and I kind of in that boat. But the reason, I think, is them trying to draw interest into NXT by having a NXT title change on Raw, because not everyone that watches Raw has Peacock, but we know they have the USA Network because they have the ability to watch Raw. So I believe that's why they did it. To excuse me. That's why they saved the title change for Monday, so they could try to draw some viewers to NXT on Tuesday, and I guess we'll see if it works. I mean, NXT does 500,000 viewers maybe. They never do anything special, so I mean, I guess we'll wait and see, but I don't think this experiment is going to work really, but I could be wrong. Alright, what was next after that? What's up to the people watching now? There we go. Now we got some viewers in here. What was after that? So, Bron Breakker, NXT champion. I guess he's not getting called up then, because I thought he was going to be... It's either him or Cody Rhodes. That's going to be next in line for our new undisputed Universal Champion, Roman Reigns. But it looks like Bron might be hanging in NXT a little while longer. MVP comes out to introduce Bobby Lashley. Lashley talks about how he wanted to prove how much of a badass he was, which he doesn't need to, because we all know Lashley's a bad motherfucker. But he said he wanted to prove how bad he was by kicking Omos' ass. Says Omos is the most powerful man he's ever been in the ring with, which is funny considering he was just wrestling Brock Lesnar 2 months ago. Omos comes out, says he wants a rematch. As that happens, MVP decks Bobby Lashley from behind and starts teaming with Omos to kick Bobby Lashley's ass. He starts yelling at Lashley that he didn't need him, that MVP felt like Lashley didn't need him, which, I mean, MVP didn't even come with him to ringside, so, I mean, he's got a point there. Omos holds Lashley up into the corner, and then MVP hits a haluva kick on Lashley and aligns himself with Omos. Omos has a very weird sounding voice. He's trying to sound like a giant, but he just sounds like he can't cut a promo, so Omos, I think the best thing for him is going to be able to have someone like MVP, who I think is the second best promo in WWE right now behind Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman's going to be the best promo in the company until he decides he doesn't want to manage anymore or be an advocate or be whatever the fuck he is. So yeah, MVP, very, very good promo, and will be something good for Omos. Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley are backstage and say they have a tag title match next week. They said they got that from Adam Pearce, so we'll have that to look forward to next week. Oh God. And then Carmella and Zelina Vega versus Natalya and Shayna Baszler, the P-break match. Zelina grabs the mic from Mike Rome as he's doing the ring introductions and blames their tag title loss on Carmella. Says Carmella is way too obsessed with herself to be a tag team champion and puts the loss on her. She calls Corey Graves a fool for wanting to marry Carmella, and at this point I stopped paying attention because then Carmella started to speak and she was being very annoying. I saw that they started fighting, and then I saw Corey and Carmella started making out on screen. It seems Monday Night Raw is trying to compete with NXT when it comes to being the most horny show on USA Network. And if this keeps up, I think they might win. So yeah, there was that segment. That was dog shit, basically. That was hot fucking garbage. Austin Theory is backstage after a video package plays of his match at WrestleMania. The Usos insult him for losing. RK Bros starts to make their entrance for their match with Finn Balor against Austin Theory and the Usos. Balor kicks off the match against Jimmy Uso. Corey Graves on commentary mentions how Balor feels disrespected for being left off the Mania card, as he should be, because he didn't win the Battle Royal. He wasn't on the Mania card. He wasn't even seen on a backstage promo or anything. Balor tags Riddle in where he squares off against Austin Theory, which is going to be a great main event match in the future. But in a future when both of these guys are world champions, we're going to see Austin Theory and Matt Riddle in the main event, and it's going to be a very, very great match, I believe. Where is that on my notes? Riddle gets his ass kicked for a while until he makes a hot tag to Orton. Austin makes a blind tag and hits a drop kick on Orton, Balor makes the tag on Orton, hits a few spots, but then Austin Theory hits his finisher on Balor and wins the match for his team. I hope this leads to Austin Theory winning the United States Championship, because the value of that title has nothing going on with Finn Balor, and I know we were all very excited when Balor won the title, but baby faces are always booked like shit. Babyface champions are always booked like shit. You know, everyone loves Roman Reigns right now because he's been a heel and he's been booked very good, but Ricochet booked like shit. Finn Balor booked like shit. You know, both of our women's champions going into WrestleMania were heels, you know. The only champion that's really booked good right now, besides the ones I mentioned, was Roman Reigns. The only ones that are booked good is RK Bro, and they just won the title not that long ago. Plus, they have a, you know, guaranteed Hall of Famer on that team with Randy Orton, you know. So, you know, it's just shitty booking and all that. You know, champs are chumps, as Solomon Monster always says. But it's not all champs, it's just babyface champs. So hopefully, for the sake of the U.S. title, we get Austin Theory winning the United States Championship and try to restore some value to it. Here, let me delete my notes real quick, because otherwise I'm going to read them over again, because I've already went through a shitload of them. Fuck. Oh, God. This segment actually wasn't that bad, but the last couple weeks it's made me want to roll my eyes. Edge comes out for a promo, says he didn't expect Damian Priest to be ringside at his match, but he explains the similarities between them, how they both, you know, were wanting to please the crowd and they were listening to the sheep. Edge calls the crowd sheep, which then makes the crowd start chanting, "We are sheep." Edge says it's very telling, idiots. And after that, he asked Damian Priest to come out. Damian Priest comes out in this all-black suit, which was very, very cool looking. You know, Damian Priest just looks cool, but ever since he's turned heel, he's come down in more black leather and black eye makeup and stuff like that. And he's looked, I've said it on the streams, you know, he's looked like a bondage sex slave. He looks like he's been out of somebody's somebody's prison. That's what he's looked like. So, like, I'm very glad that if he's going to be with Edge, he's going to start wearing suits, it looks like, which thank God, because it's way better than the bondage sex slave he's been looking like. Like I said, which it's going to make for very, like I said, for his sake, it'll stop jokes with Edge too, you know. This was probably the most awake the crowd's been for this segment. Here, I got a picture of Damian Priest and Edge, actually. Let me pull it up for you guys. That way you guys can see the suit. Because, like I said, this suit was badass looking. Where you at? Desktop. Nope. There you are. Done. And show. That's what I'm talking about. Damian Priest, that all black suit, looked very badass. Anyway, after that, like I said, as Damian Priest starts to talk, the crowd starts chanting, "We don't care." Edge calls them losers, and then they start chanting, "We are losers." As I said, the crowd just didn't give a shit, because we're kind of just like conditioned so far since this heel turn that Edge's segments have been boring. But according to Damian Priest, they haven't been boring. He says Edge's ramblings over the last couple of weeks really resonated with him. Edge says AJ needs to back off, and then when he starts saying that, he mentions AJ's kids. As soon as that happens, AJ Styles comes out. Damian Priest tries to meet up on the ramp, but he gets thrown into the crowd. AJ starts to beat up Edge and then brings chairs into the ring to do a concerto. Priest stops him, and then he and Edge hit a spear leg sweep combo, which was very cool looking. Jamie Noble comes out, saves AJ Styles from getting a concerto by those two men. Like I said earlier, it was probably the most awake the crowd was all night. And it was just because they were, you know, doing funny chants trying to get themselves over. You know, they started it with the "We Are Sheep" chant, you know, so they were trying to get themselves over. Like I said, I just didn't give a shit about the segment going on in the ring. But out of all this Edge segments, I think this was probably the most entertaining since he's turned heel. But I have a feeling if they start drowning, like if this new faction that he's reported the lead doesn't take off and he's just out there cutting boring promos and all that, I think he's going to reach Chris Jericho territory with a lot of people. The old timer that they want to go away, kind of. I have a feeling if Edge isn't careful, he's going to reach that territory. So yeah, that's just my thoughts on that. Any thoughts from you guys in here? Any thoughts about Raw so far? Like I said, we're 25 minutes into this review, and hell, I'm almost at the main event. So if you guys have anything you want to say in the chat, just let me know, because like I said, it'll make this review go longer. And hell, I was just at WrestleMania yesterday, so if you guys want to talk about WrestleMania, that'd be awesome too. Just throw it in the chat, It's up to 7 people watching. But after that segment, I'll go ahead and get into the Street Profits and Alpha Academy. It's the same match we've seen before, but this one was very entertaining, actually. They start beating each other up before the bell even rings. Adam Pearce comes out and makes a Texas Tornado tag match, which is a very, very underutilized stipulation. And, they probably only used it tonight because they were in Texas. But they are one of my favorite matches. When I play WWE 2K22, Texas Tornado matches are always fun. And, man, I know there's been one since. But the last one I remember even watching was the Usos versus the Club. I want to say Extreme Rules. Either Extreme Rules or Payback. 2016. It was right after WrestleMania 32. That's the last Texas Tornado match I remember seeing. I mean, that was 6 years ago, so I know there's had to been one since then, but it's a very underutilized stipulation. I love it. So I hope tag team wrestling can be very entertaining, but Texas Tornado matches are just another level of entertaining for me because it's more non-stop action. So I really hope WWE starts to utilize that stipulation a lot more, because this was a very good match. It was a spot fest. There was a lot of stuff going on, so it was kind of hard to write notes and keep up with it all. I'll tell you the biggest thing that happened was at the end of the match. Otis is on the outside of the ring, and he grabs a table from underneath the ring. He gets thrown into the ring steps by Angelo Dawkins. Montez Ford goes up to the top rope, but he's met there by Gable. Gable tries to go for a superplex. Montez Ford hits a frog splash through the table that was set up earlier after Angelo Dawkins punches Chad Gable onto that table. Gable table. Just realized that rhymed. But yeah, beautiful frog splash. Very good ending to the match. The match was pretty entertaining just because, like I said, it was non-stop action. The crowd, the crowd tonight just fucking sucked. I was at the stadium the last 2 days, and I've heard a lot of people say best WrestleMania crowd ever, and I can tell you how loud it was in there. So I'm not gonna toot my own horn or anything, but yeah, I think the crowd last night and at WrestleMania had been amazing. So yeah. I don't know what the problem was tonight. What's up, guys? How are y'all doing? But hell, let's get the chat going because I'm already at the main event. And there was nothing to talk about in this main event. Roman Reigns comes out. He's got both titles, and he's making the Usos carry him. Paul Heyman starts to read off all the accomplishments that the Bloodline has. Like the Usos being the longest reigning tag champs, Roman Reigns drawing the biggest box office in SummerSlam history, beating John Cena, biggest box office in Survivor Series history, which was surprising. $1 billion year for WWE. He says Roman Reigns takes responsibility for that. Roman looked very cool with both belts being out there. But like I said, there was nothing said in this segment. Actually, it was just an ad for SmackDown because Roman Reigns really didn't say anything interesting. He just said, tune in on SmackDown on Friday to figure out what our next move is. That's all he said, basically. So all this main event was an ad for SmackDown on Friday. So I'm like, yeah. Oh, hey, bro, what's up? How y'all doing? Hey, man, what'd you think of Raw tonight? What'd you think of WrestleMania? Let's get the chat going. What'd y'all think about the shows the last couple of days? But yeah, all this main event was an ad for Raw. Not Raw, SmackDown. This very much could have kicked off the show, because it would be short and sweet, and you could have saved that Cody Rhodes promo for the main event, and you would have kept more viewers, I believe, because I have a feeling a lot of people would have wanted to hear what Cody Rhodes had to say. Here, I got an image real quick. I'll show you guys of the Bloodline, and not that one. Let me delete that, actually. Remove. Yeah, let me get Damian Priest off the screen real quick. I'll show you this cool photo they had of the Usos and Roman Reigns and Bloodline and all that. Yeah, there it is right there. Damn it. I'm actually shrinking myself. That's not what I'm meaning to do. But yeah, you see right there, they got both belts. Very cool, I said Roman looks good. I can't really center. Oh, I know why. Because I locked the damn screen because I'm an idiot. But yeah, Roman looks very cool with both belts. The Usos are still the tag champs. I'm talking about the Bloodline, dude. I'm showing them on the screen. But yeah, pretty much all it was a ad for SmackDown on Friday. So what'd y'all think about the show? Because I've already ran through all the notes. Let me know what you guys thought about it. What'd y'all think about WrestleMania? Hey, I was at WrestleMania. You guys can see it says I was there on the back of the shirt. But yeah, what'd y'all think of WrestleMania? What'd y'all think of Raw? Let's get the chat going, because hell, there really wasn't a lot to review on the show tonight. It was just a very there show. And I mean, the crowd didn't help at all, but this was a very promo heavy episode of Raw. So what'd y'all think about it? I said, let's talk about WrestleMania. Let's talk about Raw. I said, let's just make this the most interactive stream we can. I did upload some entrances. If you guys want to check those out, let me read off what entrances I have loaded on my channel. Let's see. I got Edge's WrestleMania entrance, Bobby Lashley's, AJ Styles, Pat McAfee, Roman Reigns, Becky Lynch, Rey Mysterio, Nakamura and Rick Boogs, and Cody Rhodes. So that's what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 entrances for you guys to watch if you want to see what it looked like live in the building. Just something for you guys to check out on the channel. And anyone that's watching that's not subscribed, I'd very much appreciate it if you guys would subscribe. I'm on vacation for the rest of this week from work, so I'll probably have some videos up and some live streams, just letting you guys know. So subscribe to the channel for more videos. I am working on a vlog that I'm going to probably post later this week of my WrestleMania experience. I really didn't record that much footage because I was there with my girlfriend, so I didn't want to cut into our hangout time by recording videos, but I did get some footage, and then I'll probably have like a little pre-recorded thing, right where I'm sitting talking about WrestleMania and then splice in some footage after that. And I'll probably include some footage of matches and entrances and stuff like that. I need to run through my phone and make sure I didn't forget any entrances, but yeah. Let's see. Let's check real quick just to see if there's any breaking news, and then if there's not anything to talk about on wrestling news, I'm going to go ahead and end the stream unless the chat starts popping off, just because, like I said, there really wasn't much to talk about on Raw tonight. Let's see. Next week on Raw, we're going to have Veer versus Rey Mysterio, Sasha Banks and Naomi versus Liv and Rhea Ripley and AJ Styles versus Damian Priest. So yeah, that's it next week for Raw, and there's nothing, no wrestling news to cover. Other than the NXT title, that was the first time it has ever changed hands on Raw. So, like I said, that's the stream for tonight, guys. Leave a like on the video for anyone that watches this later. Hope everyone has a good day. Say more wrestling content to come, and thank you to anyone that watched this. So, you all have a good night.